But so by the time the end of '96 came, you know, everybody had called cases, and so um, I ended up getting locked up from the end of '96 all the way to the end of '97. So I was in the county, but when I went in '96, I told you I had already had a prior, right? In the
Right.
juvenile as a juvenile. So the judge waived me. He waived me then. He said, "Don't you ain't gonna come back in front of my court anyway, not the juvenile, but after this." So this case, I'm 17, is going on 18. As a matter of fact, I spent I had I had just turned 18.
Yeah.
Listen, a week after my 18th birthday, I got locked up. November 22nd. I, I remember it, 1996, and I'm like, man, right? I
Man,
was, boom. You feel me? I'm like, man, God, dang, I'm in here. So they
y'all on
gave
top of
me
the
a
world.
bond. Man, listen, the bond they gave me, I'm like, oh man, I'm going nowhere.
Right.
Because the bonds, you know what I mean. You gotta again, you gotta like uh, if you're buying 50,000 or 100,000, you gotta have property to match that equal amount. You feel me? Before a bondsman can come, it's 10%. So you gotta have 5 G's. You gotta have property,
Right.
surety. You know what I mean, to make sure that you don't run or whatever. But so I'm like, man, ain't nobody. I don't know nobody with no property like that that's going. I'm sitting. So I sat up in the county for a whole year, right? Sat up in there. I'm young, so um, from 90, yeah, 95, 96, 96 to 97, 97. You know what I mean? I'm going into my 19th year, right? Um, so I'm up in there. While I'm up in there, though, I end up because I'm facing 20. I'm facing 20 years. So I end up, you know what I mean, giving my life over to the Lord while I'm up in there. And
So that's where it happened.
uh,
That's where you kind of make the transition.
right. The transition was right then while I'm in the county jail. And
Mm.
I, I began to battle with, you know, rapping the way that I was, you know what I mean, using that same language, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so I remember, you know what I mean, I had a conversation with the Lord. I was like, man, God, you know what I mean, how am I gonna do this if I'm still called to do this, if you want me to still do this, how can I do it um and do it right, you know what I mean, and still be potent and
Right.
powerful without the cuss words. You feel me? Because the cuss words is what make it, hit.
I understand for
I ain't
sure. I understand.
so I'm like, how can So he give me a song. You know what I mean? So I wrote my very first gospel song in the county jail.
How old was you at this
And
moment in time?
this time I was still 18. I was 18.
Okay. Oh my God.
And
18,
uh,
man. You were so
yeah,
young.
man, right. Oh man. So young, so wild, boy. Thunder is out. Many nights in the hole. But
Right.
I was just transitioning. God was doing some things, you know what I mean, in me. And so
Mhm.
while I was there though, it's called my very first gospel song called Never Give Up. And I wrote the chorus. I remember I wrote 3 verses, 3 whole verses. That was back then. Back then, my mind was as a writer, you gotta write your chorus, your hook, your verse, your hook, your verse. You know what I mean? If you want either the bridge, or you can go to hook, bridge, your third verse, then your chorus go on and go out. You know what I mean? That's
Oh yeah,
back
for
then.
sure.
They don't do that no more than that.
Yeah,
Very
he
seldom do
barely.
you get a whole right. But that man, that song, 3, 4 verses I'm talking about was fire. It was so powerful. Listen, so while I'm up in there, right, I start studying the word real heavy. So I started doing Bible studies up in there. And then so the church that would come in, volunteer. It was like, man, some of y'all, anybody got something that they want to share with us? Woo, woo, right? So I'm like, yeah, man, I got something, I got a song, I wrote, man, God turned my heart around, it's God's rap. I don't know if y'all like it, woo, woo, right? So I end up, woo, they allowed me to, share it. And by the end of it, everybody there rocking, right? Clapping. And like, man, more powerful. Couple brothers, man, came, was like, gave their life to the Lord. I'm like, what? Like, man, boy, I know they fake it. Me, I'm thinking is, it's a ploy. It's corny, But they gospel, they ain't gonna tell you that you weak, that it's corny, right? They gonna do it in my way, or they're gonna be like, all love. They're gonna show you nothing but love. They're gonna just they ain't gonna tell you to your face, man, it's garbage, man. It's whack. Going back to the joy. So I just did. I tried it, every time, right? So my dude that came in, that was a part of the clique, and so we was in the same cell, and I'm like, man, man, Lord, man, I changed my life, man. Ooh, this and that and other, man. So I'm up there reading, and so I'm like, listen, man, check out this song though that I wrote, man. Right? He was like, man, he was like, all right, all right. So, I flowed it for him. He was like, man, roll, man. He was like, man. He was like, because my guy is like, um, he's like 3 or 4 years older than, So
Right.
he mentally you're more wise, But at the time I was wiser um for my age, I was like an old soul. So all of them, I had them under my wing, And then financially, I really handled the click. So you know what I mean. I tell him, he was like, man, Ro, man, yeah, man, you got something, man, woo, woo, and it really sparked something in him, right? He was like, man, he was like, man, it was like I ain't never did that, Just wrote a whole and it's all fire and you ain't cussed not one time. It was like, man, it was like, wow. It was like, that's man. You're like that. Now that's some heat. And so my goal was, because at this time I had wrote so many songs. I had wrote so many songs and recorded and performed. And I'm like, man, listen, I think that I actually came to a point where I mastered gangster rap. You know what I mean? So I'm like, there ain't nothing I can't do in gangster rap. So God, I want to do something that I never done before. So
Mhm.
that's why I took the challenge.
Right.
So I took the challenge. So it was like a challenge to me to really write my
Right.
first song, the gospel song, and it be as equal to be lined up to one of my most powerful songs at the time, that was out there.
Mhm.
And so when I did it, I was like, man, let me keep going, man. So, you know, I just kept writing, man, just kept writing different songs. And so but while I was in there, um, at first, it didn't come easy. I still wrote, secular songs and things like that, and flowed them. I just never recorded them. So I just wrote them, had them,
Right.
whatever. So I actually, to be honest and real transparent, I use I use those verses for battle raps for dudes that will come in and think that they was lyrical and that they could hold stuff down. So I would pull out one of them verses, in a battle, and they be like, "Oh man, I ain't know you, man. You doing it like that." yeah, man. So and then it always turn into it'll shut the rap down, and we go into conversations. We going so so that's what I used to use it down there for. But while I was in there, man, he transitioned my mindset. So while I was doing different things, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to see what type of value that's in this. You know what I mean? Because this is something I still love to do. It's at my heart. It's at the core. So you know, plus God, you changed me, and now you calling me to ministry. So I got to see how it's going to go together, how it's going to, what I mean, link together and be a part of the walk. But I didn't know then. I was just thinking it, you know what I mean, but and just doing it. So I get out 97, end of 97, a week before my birthday, right? So I get out, bond out. And
so you went in a week after your birthday, then you get out a week before your birthday.
A week before my birthday, yeah. And so I turned 19 on the street, right? So while I'm there, I go out there, kick it, you know what I mean? My cousin's like, yeah, woo, woo. Throw me a big party and everything. We kicking it, we doing a thing. I'm like, man, woo, my dude, man, rest in peace, he gone. He came with the gold Schlager with, I don't know if you was a drinker or whatever, but that was like the liquor that had real gold flakes in it, right? They got real gold flakes. Oh man, yeah. And so and then at that time, you know what I mean, I was like, I was on when I left, I was on scotch. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, he was like, okay, I'm gonna bring you your scotch, but I'm gonna bring you some, next level. You know what I mean? Because he was he was one of the biggest dope dealers, man. You know what I mean? So he like, man, I'm finna woo. My guys, cousins from South Bend, that was the biggest ones over in South Bend came, and we all kicked it, right? And so, and after that, I'm like, man, you know what I mean? I'm like, dang, okay, so what am I gonna do from here? You know what I mean? I'm back here.
Okay, I know you guys are enjoying the episode, but I gotta let you know that this part of the video is sponsored by Who Knew. Who Knew is a brand building ecosystem that's literally strategically built for you to be able to create the brand that you can only imagine. You can build your dream website. You can get business credit and unsecured business funding. You can be able to get managed by us. And not only that, we actually have a tool called Mercabus that we created to be able to give you the power to rank on Google, YouTube, or any other platform almost instantly. You can be able to keep up with the episodes. You can be able to get hosting. You can be able to get any plugin and thing that you need to be able to build the type of brand that you can envision. Trust me when I tell you, Who Knew changed my life, and then Who Knew have changed so many different people. That's why we have a plethora of entrepreneurs that have already taken their business from $0 to 6 and 7 figures. Literally, it's pointless for me to have this conversation with you to try to convince you of something that you already need. It doesn't matter what part of the journey that you're on, from the beginning to the point of your building and wanting to go farther to take your brand to the next level, or if you just trying to scale and you already at the top and you already reached that plethora. Who Knew have every single thing for you. Now, you're going to get back into the episode.